Hi, I'm Alan R. This is Motor Matters, your favorite channel for everything motoring, the latest, the greatest, the newest and the best South African motoring in South Africa. And I've got to ask you a quick question. Have you subscribed to the channel yet? Hit the subscribe button now and make sure you get all our newest videos as soon as they're published. What we got here today? Well, it's something you've seen a few times before recently on Motor Matters. Only launched in South Africa very, very recently, and we were honored to be the first in South Africa to actually get the Beijing X55 on test for a full test in South Africa. And we got it back again. But there's a reason why we've got it back again, because this time we've got the mid-spec model, the active. Last time we had the top premium version on test. Beijing or BAIC have asked me to compare the differences between the different spec levels. So let's just explain something to you. The X55 is a pretty much medium SUV, and very important to take note. It's biggish, bigger than you expect, got lots of space. You've got the LED headlights as standard on all the models. You've got this effect at the bottom, at the front over here, that made me think it's electric or hybrid or something like that, but it's not yet. That is coming because they have designed this platform from the start to allow for hybrid and electric versions. Keep that in mind. Of course, it would not be a SUV without cladding around the wheel arches and along the bottom, and with roof rack effects across the top. You just expect that from an SUV. Now, the first difference you can find between the three different spec levels is the dynamic comes with 18-inch wheels, whereas active and premium have these 19 inches. And look at these nice black mags on this one we've got over here. Does it affect the ride? Well, I have driven active as well at the launch, and to me it didn't make all that much difference, I must be honest. You come along over here, you've got these very interesting door handles on the Beijing range, and if I take the key over here and I lock quickly, you'll see what they do. And note the mirrors fold automatically as well. Let me now explain this to you. On active, you have to press manually on these handles. On dynamic, on active, I press the remote, they pop out, and I do that to open the doors. On premium, of course, you don't need the key. When it's locked, you touch on it and it pops open and unlocks keyless. That's a very big difference between the models. Depends how much convenience you want in your life. And convenience, security, safety, all those features come into it and are very important. Notice they all have, of course, these swooping lines over here with this interesting treatment on the C-pillar at the back. And you do get the darker privacy glass at the rear on both active and premium models. You don't on dynamic. These are all things only you can answer whether you want them or not. Come around to the back, of course, and of course you've got interactive LED tail lights as well on all three models. What is something that I want you to note very carefully is, although they're three spec levels, what BAIC have done very cleverly in my book is the fact that the safety spec stays the same. The engine and gearbox stay the same. It's the luxury spec that changes. That's an interesting way they do it. That, again, applies only to active and premium models. You don't get the auto opening on dynamic, but you do get a nice big boot over here. You get a 12-volt socket in the boot for convenience. And underneath over here, once you've lifted and lifted again, you get a space saver spare wheel. But at least there is a spare wheel. To me, very, very important. And it's up to you about remotes for the rear hatch over there. You get the diffuser effect and you don't even see exhaust, but that's something up to you whether you like or not. You get rear park distance control on all of them. You even get the reverse camera on all of them. The premium gives you front radar and front camera views only on the premium model. Let's see it on the road. Let's check it out inside. We'll chat more. On the road, the smoothness is what first impresses me. It's smooth, it's comfortable, it's easy. And something that is really comes to light very, very quickly is the 7-speed dual clutch automatic transmission. You just don't feel gear shifts in this car at all. Well, I certainly don't notice it in normal driving. I'm sure if you want to accelerate, if you want to put it in sport mode and drive a little bit harder, can I call it? Maybe then you'll feel a couple of shifts. But in everyday driving, the smoothness is really impressive, I have to tell you. And something else that has come to light in this test and in the previous one of the X55 as well is, I'll quote my wife for a change. Mrs. R said very simply, she just found this such an easy car to drive. Light, comfortable, it's big, it's bigger than you think, deceptively so, but just nice and easy to drive. The power, the 130 kilowatts, 305 Newton meters, that's a big number of Newton meters. Certainly gives you enough to overtake when you want. And that's an important factor, and it's a safety factor, quite honestly, to have more than sufficient under your right foot when you want it for an overtake. So that's really important too. And just overall, for the price bracket, it's amazing. For the comfort, for what it offers, this really, really, in my book, is a serious contender all round. And only you can ever prove that to yourself. Open road cruise, done 310 kilometers, as you can see. Nice open road, traveling 120 most of the way. Average fuel consumption 7.0 liters per 100. So that's what you can expect open road. It's not fantastic, it's not incredible, but I've certainly got no complaints. Jumping in the driver's seat, let's have a look. First things first. We've done 400 kilometers now so far on this test, showing an average of 8.1 liters per 100 kilometers overall for the test period. Now, taking into account that that's been a lot of urban commuting and a nice open road trip, which we showed 7, it says the car's a bit heavy around town. But anyway, I think it's also fairly new. The car's under 5,000 kilometers, and that first service has shown to make a big difference on a lot of cars lately, and especially the ones coming from China. So let's take that into account. This is a 10.25 inch. You can see full digital instrumentation. You can scroll, you can do everything. You know how it works. I'm not going to go through it all because I think it's just too much to do, but you can see how it all works on the instrumentation, on everything. You've of course got the scroller over here, and if I just scroll there, you'll see it'll change the information as we go on the screen. It's basic, you know how it works. I don't think I'm going to say too much more than that about it. You've got down there is your cruise control. So it's the old-fashioned stalk type. Well, you either like it, you don't. The point is, if you like using cruise control, as long as it works, who really cares about features and facts like that? I don't think it's that important. On the door over here, you've got, of course, all your window controls, and that's where you lock and unlock the doors. And they do lock and pull off. Thank you very much for that. Beijing. Come across to the center, of course, over here. And again, standard on all models is the 10.1 inch screen in the center over here. Note something very important. Besides the controls on the wheel, that there are no buttons, no switches, no nothing on the center console and on the center fascia. You do everything through the screen. And just look at this. And I can tell you, it actually is possibly even more than I would want to have to live with, because you can press and you can just keep going and keep going and keep going through menu upon menu upon menu. Maybe a bit too much for my liking, but let's leave that out. Also, there's a well, you can do it there as well, your driving modes. Comfort, Eco, Sport and Smart. Look at that. You also, very interesting, if you want to open the tailgate from inside the car, you press that button there. I'm not going to do it now, but you can open and close the tailgate very quickly, very easily from there. Just coming back to the steering wheel, by the way, let me show you now. That star button on the steering wheel allows you to actually shortcut certain of those functions on the screen over there. You can set it up for yourself, and you can do what you want over there and set it up nice and easily there as well. Another feature that this car has that some people say they would hate and some say they would love is it's got an electronic parking brake, i.e. the electronic handbrake as I like to call it. Automatically disengages when you put the car into drive, except if the driver's seatbelt isn't done up. Just a little quirk, a little trick, a little, call it what you want. I think it's a good safety feature. A lot of people have said to me, it would really annoy me. Well, it's personal, isn't it? Take it as it comes, take it as you want. You can see very neat air conditioning controls over here. You come down. Now this again is really, to me, interesting. Your console in the center. Space for cell phone. Space for second cell phone. I find that really, really useful. Nice big underarm console over here, which even has refrigeration. Aircon pipes into it. So you've got that too. And that's standard on all of them. But you've also got, very difficult for the camera to show this right now, it gives you much more storage space down here, and also got the nice grippy rubber over there, and there's a USB there. There's also another USB in here as well. So you've got two USBs for the front. Useful, neat, etc. Let's just talk quickly. I haven't mentioned engine and gearbox. I said it's common across the range. Well, it's that 1.5 litre turbo petrol engine, 130 kilowatts and 305 newton meters of torque. So it's got a lot more power and a lot more oomph than a lot of the competitors. And it's got this very unusual gear lever, which actually falls very nicely to hand, very comfortable to work, etc. 7-speed dual clutch automatic. So it's got the engine and gearbox spec that I would want if this was my car, that's for sure. And I proved it, overtaking, easy, nice, comfortable. Those are important features that you want. The seats, let's mention the seats. You see these with the headrests, etc. Very, very comfortable, very nice. I've got no complaints on these seats. They really do work nicely for me. Now, a big difference between dynamic, active and premium is the seats are red on the premium. Have to be honest, this two-tone grey that you see throughout the car over here would work a lot better for me, I must be honest. And I would certainly prefer that color scheme in my car. So I'm going to again touch on what are the differences. Well, over here, let's see the massive panoramic sunroof, and it really is massive. You get on active and premium, you don't get on dynamic. These are choices only you can make. Do you want the panoramic roof or don't you? Well, I don't know, but do you want it? Now the difference, you go from 2 to 4 to 6 speakers on the sound system on the 3 different models. Again, features that only you can decide if you really want or don't want. What you get is, look at the space in the back seat over here. It really is big, and it really gives you lots and lots and lots of space. But now, I mentioned earlier, one of the things that premium gives you that you don't get on either of the other two models is the front radar, which is the front camera, the front radar, which of course gives you active braking and a little bit extra safety, because all of them do have emergency brake assist, they have electronic parking brakes, they have auto hold, and they have ESP. They all have those. Hill start control as well, hill descent control even. So those are features you get on all of them to make sure that you've got plenty of safety in the cars. But I said before, I'll mention again, it is luxury spec that differs between them. So keep that in mind very, very carefully. You get that auto folding of the mirrors Do you like it? Do you not like it? On Elite and Premium. That's again something you've got to just pick up for yourself, and you've got to decide for yourself. Very important where you get differences again is on the seats. On the dynamic, manual seats. Doesn't matter to you. Do you mind adjusting the seat yourself? Whereas on this one, on the Elite, you get 6-way electric adjustment for both driver and passenger. But on the Premium, you also get memory. You get 2 memory settings. So if you and the wife both drive the car regularly and you don't feel like having to hassle, you can at least do that automatically, and there you go, and it does it for you. Another big feature you do get on Premium, and can be useful, especially in this muggy hot weather we've had lately, is heating or ventilation for the front seats. And ventilation I would have loved for the last few days that I've been driving this car, I have to be honest with you. So again, you've got to put values onto each of these items, and then you can decide and work out for yourself which one you want, which one you don't want. The last thing that you get, of course, on Premium that you don't get on Dynamic or Elite is you get what they call mood lighting or ambient lighting on the doors and across the dashboard. You choose again. What is fascinating about this car, and obviously they knew in South Africa and unknown in South Africa still, is BAIC, Beijing Auto, have an agreement in China with Mercedes-Benz. They call it Beijing Benz. Now, a lot of people have said and discussed, are they using certain Mercedes-Benz parts? Are they using some Merc technology, etc., etc.? And there are. The stalks, for example, are very Mercedes-like. The engine, a lot of people have said to me, some people have speculated could just be Mercedes. I don't know. I'm not answering and I'm not commenting. I'm just telling you. Very interesting. You do get a 5-year warranty on this car, which says they have a lot of confidence. 5-year, 150,000 kilometer warranty says they have got confidence in the product. So the question comes all the way. They asked me to tell you Dynamic, Elite or Premium. It's all about money, isn't it? Dynamic is 395,000 Rand. Elite is 425 and Premium is 455. That's quite a big jump. I've mentioned what you get and don't get for the different models. Obviously, at the end of the day, isn't it up to you what you can afford? If you had to finance this car over 5 or 6 years, very roughly, please, you'd be looking at 8,000 Rand for the Dynamic. You would be looking at 8,500 Rand for the Elite, and you'd be looking at 9,000 Rand a month for the Premium. Just don't hold me to it. It's going to depend on you and your bank manager, how friendly you are, but that's the kind of difference. So you're talking steps of 500 Rand at a time. My point here, if money was really the issue, I like the power, I like the engine, I like the drivetrain, and I like the ride of the car and the space. Dynamic would do if I'm pushed for money. If the money is not as important, I think I would skip the Elite and go straight to the Premium. Just because it gives you 1 or 2 extra features that I really would like to have. That front radar, which gives you the active braking, for example, is the most important to me. The heated and ventilated seats are important to me. And to me, that keyless locking and unlocking would be a factor as well. But that's me. Only you can decide for yourself. All I can tell you is, you're in this kind of market and you're in this kind of price bracket, go and check it out for yourself. You will be surprised pleasantly. For Matters, I'm Alan R. I'll see you next time.